Hi, my name's Wanda. I'm going to channel for you. That means I allow love energy to pass through me, and it turns into a message. In this YouTube video, we're going to have a conversation with Ash, and it's going to be about who knows what, but it'll be something interesting, intriguing, and we'll see how things go. So I just like to say hello. Make sure you press subscribe on the YouTube videos if you haven't already. Okay, so I'll say goodbye at the end. Ah, we are going to have a lively debate with the professor. There are many things that you have been labeled in your life, all accurate for different periods of time, different headspaces that you have been in. So you are able to represent a great majority of the human race, for you have lived many different types of lives. You have worn many different hats, you would say. That's your expression. So you have been many different sorts of human beings, really. You're the same human being, but you have looked differently. So we are able to have different sorts of communication with you that you are willing to share with with other humans for the greater good of humanity. And this, we would say, is at the heart of you. The heart of you is kind and loving and caring. Not just curious, of course, you're very, very curious, that also. But really, the curiosity and the kind heart come together for this energetic exchange. And it is called forth by you. So, this lovingness and this great curiosity about what wondrous things are happening on the earth and the atmosphere, everything, bring together a perfect union, we would say. So, it is not a personal conversation, but it is a philosophical conversation that we are having with you and will have with you, for that is what is needed from you for others to hear. So there are others who are like you, who are curious, but not curious enough to delve into the world of the unknown, but they're a little bit curious. So that is where you come in. You are the beginning, the opener. You are the entryway for many to find their way into a world that is familiar to them, but they have just forgotten about it. They've forgotten about the mystery and magic that exists in the world, because they have become encumbered, often heavily encumbered by the life they are leading, as if this is all there is. So all of their energy has gone into living a life, this moment that they believe is all there is. So they put everything into it until something happens to them where they get close to the end. Even for a moment, even if they're about to come to the end, something within them awakens and they begin to wonder, is it truly all that there is this moment, or is there more? So at this moment where they say, is there anything more? That's where you come in. So it's an opener for them, and it's your place to uh, jump into. For you are able now to represent them in this way, where they're just coming out. Before that, when they're living a heavy life, there's no interest at all in energetic exchange. There's no opening of eyes, curious state, anything, nothing, nothing, nothing. They're just very much sure that they are living the life that they must. But when something causes to have them question their great knowledge of living a human life and being successful, you understand this part. This is particularly important for those who feel that success is physical and financial. They haven't realized yet that that is not really a successful life. It is the way humans measure a successful life only. So this you understand as well, for you have moved beyond it. So this is how you are coming to represent. You're those who are just about to wake up. Their eyes are just open a little bit. They can only see a little bit of what the possibilities of a true life, well lived and grand, looks like. Now, do you have something specific you would like to speak of?
Yeah, I had a little trouble getting prepared for this session more than I do normally. So I thought I would just go with the flow and see what comes out of this conversation. But
Let us speak of something then.
okay,
Do you remember the time when you went from knowing everything to knowing nothing?
no.
Ha. So that is the time where you were sure you knew if you did this, it equaled that. And if you did that, it equals this. And if I behave this way, this would be the result. And then it didn't happen that way. Do you remember how you learned and you memorized this equals that? This always happens when that precedes it. Do you remember this learning? And you were sure, and those around you were sure, that you were learning how to correctly live a human life. You remember this part?
Yeah, well, as a child, the natural you learn natural consequence of actions, and action has a reaction or has a consequence, and you learn that as a very young child. So that's a
Yes,
lifelong thing.
yes. And as you continued, not so that's a small one, those are rudimentary examples. But as you got older, you still learned that if you do this and that, this will be the outcome. And there was no questioning if that was the outcome. It would be.
Mhm.
So it was a surety of knowledge. It was putting knowledge as the God, we would say, that it would be that it to everyone agreed that this knowledge was correct, and you could not find fault in it. So it was perfect as it stood, exactly as it is. Do you understand now what we mean?
Yes. Okay.
So as you came to this place and you all agreed it must be like this, all of a sudden something happened in your life, you don't have to be specific, that turned the equation upside down. Oh, so if I do this and you do this, we get the result. But now I don't get the result, but I am still doing the same equation. I've done the same things over and over and got the same results, and this time I did not. This time the results were upside down. Now you're following us?
I think so.
So when the results turned upside down, even though you had not changed, nor your mathematical ways of seeing the world have not changed, it turned upside down. So then the whole equations turned upside down, not just the end result, the entire thing. So now you start at the beginning. If all of the equation is erased, something that you have based your philosophy of life on, you get to start anew. And this is what we mean by opening of eyes. We mean you get to begin again as an adult. Now, it's painful as an adult because you have more and more memories that you were banking on, that you were assured were true. So you had more of them than when you were a small one. So now as a adult, and everything's turns upside down, and now you say, let's begin again. There's a lot more erasing to do. So
Okay.
there's a lot of equations to erase from the chalkboard, all of them, because you can't now that one is upside down on both sides, you have to throw all of the scientific equations away as well. For if it doesn't work with this one, it might not work with that one either. So now you erase the board of equations. And now you have a blank slate. And here you are now, a grown up, starting again. And there's a certain amount of shame sometimes attached to that, the guilt. How come I didn't know? Why was I so sure of myself? Because the others were sure too. And we thought everything was going to go according to plan, and it just doesn't. Now what? Now I'm an adult, but I feel like a newborn child beginning a new life. Now, as scary, as awful as that sounds with the way that we have worded it, it is also the most beautiful, precious time to begin living. For now, your life will be rich and full because it has more meaning. Because because you have spent so much time in other equations and you now understand we want to push that all aside and start anew. There's great energy with the new because you're the maturity with the maturity brings a great faith or lack of faith, becomes with great experience, depression, sadness, excitement. There's more breadth of human experience to be that has already been had, that's coming forth automatically. Even if you get rid of the equation, you still have the emotional responses and events that you have lived through. So now you're sitting here, okay, brand new, the board is blank, but I still have the experiences and emotions with me. Now what? Now, as a mature human, you will open your eyes and say, now I can do anything I wish.
Mhm.
Now, this confidence is not felt in small children because they're still reliant upon adults to get by. But as grown-ups, you may do whatever you wish. Now you're really free. You don't need anyone to take care of you. You may ascend on the earth in whatever way you see fit. So now truly you are a student showing up in a new class with a blank board that will never be filled, for it is only filled by you, by what you already know. So what has happened with the board being cleared is you've gone back to the beginning before you came here. So now you have an adult body, but you have the space to hold an experience before and after your lifetime.
Mm.
And this is a wondrous experience to have. So now you're free, and now you'll have time, space, energy. You have dealt with many different emotional things. They've all been set aside and have and are gone on their way. And now here you sit with the time remaining in your human experience to do with it as you will. And of course, there will now be more room for spiritual unknown magic. For you have filled your life already with all of the philosophies and mathematical equations. Now the space for new. And what is new? It's the opposite of what was old. And what is new and what is opposite the old, of course, is majesty and intrigue and energy and universe, intelligence from all time. This is what truly gets you moving now. You
Mm.
see, for all of the rest you've dealt with, it's all done and put to sleep. Now you're here. And it's not just you. There are many humans now that are thinking, I guess I've got that other experience down. Now what? Now what? I'm a human. I can show up. I have lots of time and space. Now what? So the now what is you becoming one with the universe of love. You remembering what you're like without your physical experience. You traveling through time and space. You connecting with other human beings on a level that is not possible from human to human. For humans, brain and ego automatically judge human to human. But now you have space to go soul to soul, which is different. It doesn't really care what the human looks like or what the experiences were, because now you're one with everyone. There's a greater capacity for care, concern, connection when you open your eyes late in your human time, after having gone through some chaos and all kind of bedlam, which always happens naturally with humans. There's all kinds of things happen. But when you show up at this time and space that you are in, you are experiencing great connection with mankind. It begins with that for you. There are others who are like you, who are searching as well. And this draws you to them. Where are you, brothers? Where are you? Where are those who are like me, who wish to find more? For together, we may become more. So there are others, you see. There are others who are at a time of life like you that wish to be more. And as they come together and you come together with them, you are able to accelerate your learning, but also you're able to leave your physical body for a time and become one with others. What do you think of all of this?
Mm. Um, I liked it right up to the last part, being I'm very intrigued about making the connection and having the I guess more of an awareness or understanding. I'm still, I guess, um, just I guess, and listening to what you're saying, I'm relating that to my life experiences, some of the challenges I had, and then where I just changed what I'd say my outlook on life, or the lens that I looked at those experiences through, and this experience itself has really helped me kind of reform how I look at what's happened in the past. But as far as, awareness of other lives, like any direct remembering of that or of non-physical, I still have no recollection of that at this point.
You will be drawn to it through others, is what we are referring to.
Hmm.
So, as you are able to see others, you have a compassionate heart that's able to see in others things that you cannot see in yourself, that you have certain blind spots about yourself, because in order to truly connect with the non physical, the energy, there must be very little left of yourself, very little left of your brain and ego. So for you, it's easier to start through others. For them, you'll be able to see, oh, I see you're doing something extraordinary out there in outer space, blah, blah, whatever it is. Whatever it is, I see that you can do it. Oh, over here, what are you doing? Oh, you're doing something interesting and magical too. And you, and you, and you. And when you see enough of them doing it, you will come to trust that you are the same as them, that you're able to have the same experiences as them.
Hmm.
So it's
So is it?
through the others that you will be led to yourself, which is sort of upside down. It's not that way
Hmm.
with everyone, but for you, you need to see it modeled in others first. Then you'll try it.
Hmm. So is the fundamental issue that I'm trying to get over trust, or is it, or is it?
It's letting go of all that you have built and all that you've become.
Hmm.
The human that you believe came from persevering and hard work and having negotiations with others and having debates and learning things. All of the things that you've been highly invested in your human life. It's difficult to let them go. You spent a lot of time and energy getting them. So why would you consider letting them go? You see, there's not enough payoff yet for you. There's not enough payoff for you to let go of all of the things you hold so dearly, that you've worked hard for. Why would you let that go in order to be more accelerated, uh, non physically, we would say?
Hmm. So
So
when you say,
as this balances more and more, because you are continually interested in non-physical information, and this curiosity and intrigue is taking you somewhere. You're taking along your other self, along your, we won't say baggage because it's your life experience, but you've got it hanging on with your big suitcase, taking it with you, you see. So as you take what you've known and how you've lived with you, it slows you down a little bit. That's all really. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you or the way you live or anything. But your letting go is held back by the weight of your life you have lived.
so is that, are you referring to material items, like
Mm.
the connection to material things? Is that?
It would be the philosophies of collecting material things, perhaps, but it's not material things. They all disappear when you disappear. We don't mean that, but it's the philosophy of I've worked very hard. I believe in this way of life. I have built this family, knowledge. I have collected all of this. It's an a vested interest in the decisions that you have made in your life that you struggled over and came to a conclusion about.
Mhm.
All right, you hold on to them, they're dear to you. So we're not saying that there's anything wrong with it, but it's just that holding on to things that are dear for you, dear to you, and that you've invested and you're proud of and all of that, slow you down. Slow you down energetically.
Okay, so if I'm understanding the point, I'm just trying to, I guess, make this clear in my own mind. So I would say that you're absolutely right, and I've gone through life with the philosophy of you work hard and apply yourself, and then the rewards will come over time. Um, so what you're saying, if I'm not mistaken, then is, well, by putting more faith in the universe and bringing just positive energy to the situation and letting it unfold as it will, that the same rewards or more might come.
Ah, yes. We've got it, you see.
Hmm.
It's the energy that is put into thoughts that really, they don't serve you today. You must hold on to them because you worked hard to get them. So now you try to pass them to others. This is what I've learned, this philosophy, and you work hard and you have the wording we are not
Hmm.
precise on. You should do this too. What about you? Do you want one? And do you want one? And do you want one? So you're passing those balls of philosophy around instead of what you're much more capable of, and you've proven it by this discussion. Now you may pass a different ball around. Well, maybe you're in the right place at the right time. Maybe you're exactly where you should be. Maybe you are exactly where you should be. It's a whole different energetic ball of information, we would say.
Mhm.
It's a mindset change slightly, but we would like to discuss your mind, for it has been finely tuned. It has been honed to precision. It's very, very sharp. Now, when humans invest a lot of time and energy in any part of their physical life or their physical body or their being, they don't let go of it because they're afraid if they let go of it, what will fill in the space? Because surely all space must be filled with something. Now, the philosophy of the universe and non physical is to allow the space to be the space, even if you're afraid of it. Because what comes into it, and surely it will be filled, but it will be filled with magic, lightness, connection, ease, simplicity. It will be filled with things like this, which are not heavy. So the space will feel light. You are used to a very dense, heavy, predictable life,
Mhm.
including your brain. Your brain has been immersed in heavy information that has kept you grounded to earth. So, this was important to you during this lifetime, to be heavy, to be grounded to earth. And now look at you. Now you say, well, I don't know. I've spent all of this time doing it, but now perhaps I'd like to be light. You do not go from heavy to light quickly. Must be done little by little by little by little until you're to the middle. Then you'll be lighter. You see, little by little, you have invested much time in being heavy to keep you to earth. Now, what if you needed to be heavy to stay on the earth because you're truly very light? See, what if that is the reasoning? So perhaps there is a philosophical reason why you are so heavy, because you're actually light.
And does that relate to past lives and different experiences and trying to balance energy in some way?
We will speak of this only slightly with you, for you're greatly intrigued by the times that you have spent in other places and times and how they affect you in this moment. If this were a philosophy you brought forward into this time, I must be heavy because I've been too light, we might agree with you. And now, having said that, why are you going back to light? And that's why there's not always a value in remembering where you were before this. So if you were light before, now you want to be heavy, so you're not light, but now you've changed your mind halfway through and now you want to be light. See, without finishing a life being heavy.
Hmm.
So each human experience, you can change your mind. You can change your mind about what your purpose or philosophy was when you came in, just as you are doing. So in a way, it doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter where you were before this life, because now you've got it all. Heavy, and now you wish to be light.
Hmm.
But
But
it's a bit of a grind to go from heavy to light. Keep this in mind. You're not going to become light as a fairy quickly,
I
because
understand.
you've invested all of this time being heavy and it was important and valuable to you. Don't underestimate the value of being heavy. There's nothing wrong with it at all. That's what you chose and who you chose to be. Now you've just changed your mind. And it's going to take a while for you to catch up to this. All of this lifetime, you set the momentum going to be predictable and heavy and everything will be precise. Now you say, no, I don't think so. I'm erasing the board, as much as we said earlier. Now it's going to take some time for the rest of you to catch up to that. Now we have no board, we have no direction. We're going to just wing it. We're going to fly around like little birds. No, there's a certain resistance to it. And they're going to wait and see. They, being your brain and ego, are going to wait and see if you mean it. Because you might change your mind again. You've already changed it once. You might go back to being heavy. Who knows? You have all of the lifetime. You can do this many times. Heavy, light, heavy, light, heavy, light, or just once or never. Doesn't matter. But you will, but they are waiting to see if you mean it. So they will continue to keep the weight and keep you down and heavy and secure, just in case you come back.
Well, I'm thinking about conversations we had earlier where you said our purpose of coming here is just to have the experience, and it really doesn't matter what we do, whether we're murderers or whether we're saints, I think was the words you used.
We will explain this a little bit more for you. So if you decide to have a purpose, you do. If you don't, you don't. You decided to.
Not a given then, okay.
You decided to at the beginning. But of course, then you can change your mind. So really, doesn't matter if you had a purpose in the beginning, if you can change it a minute later. Perhaps it doesn't matter at all. So perhaps it's all come back around to do what you can while you're there. Now, there's something overlapping the entire thing. And this is, why do you have a physical body when you can be a non-physical? That's a different conversation. So there's much energy around all humanity. They're not in physical bodies. They didn't say, I want to be physical. You did. You said, I want to be in physical. Why? Why would you want to be in physical? Because you wanted to make a difference here. You wanted to see if you could make a difference. You wanted to bring love forth through you. Now, if your human life gets all messed up, turned upside down, that's fine too. You've forgotten. You might remember next time, or you might not again. But your intention when you jump into a physical body is to assist mankind, to remember that they are love, and you are presenting love yourself. That's your intention for the first minute, but it might not be minutes later. But that's why you have a physical body. There's much non-physical that does not.
Okay. So let's go back to the conversation about heavy versus light. So is there an intent to come in with the heavy body to have a heaviness to have a certain experience, or how does that affect the decision to just bring love forward?
Well, they are hand in hand, because always that's bringing love forward to remind others that they are loved too is just conducive with having a physical body. They're the same. You have a physical body, you wish to bring love forth and remind others. That's one topic. It's together. It cannot be separated. Okay. That's the way the universe sees you when you have a physical body. That put aside, there are certain humans, and such as yourself, who have been very, very light before and wish to say, I want to be heavy. Yes, of course, I'll be human and share love, but I also wish to be heavy because I was too light last time. So you came in with, you could say dual intentions, but we would say that but the love and the human physical body go hand in hand. So we don't need to discuss that over and over. To you, yes. To the universe, no. It's a given. Look, you have a body. Look at you. All right? Your love. Okay, that's fine. But this other idea of coming in heavy because you were very, very light last time was your intention when you first came in, which is why you're very interested in these past lives, because you yourself can slightly remember yours. And there's a part of you that know they exist. That's why you are interested in it, because you know they're true. Mm-hmm. You know yourself. You don't need any training for it. You know yourself that this is not your first time on the earth. So you have a different message to bring forth. You have a different calling. You have many callings, but this one is intriguing to you. Mm-hmm. So you know deep inside, and no one will convince you of anything else. Even if they write all of the formulas on the board that say, no way, there's no other lives, look at this formula, you'll all of a sudden say, no, erase the board. I'd like to have it blank. Well, I'm not in class anymore, and I'm not memorizing any more formulas. Now I'm living life based on truth that is inside of me. For the only truth lies within the human experience. Your truth. That's the only truth there is. Everyone else has their own truths. Your truth lies within you. And it cannot be any longer convinced by numbers. It was at the time convinced by numbers, and this happened 100 times, so it's going to happen 101 times. It used to be the way of you, but not now. Now that the board's erased, now you check inside now. So
Mhm.
I know what truth is now because I'm awake. I'm starting to remember what I've forgotten, and I'm going to live my life now based on what is inside of me. I'll gather information because I think that's fun and interesting, but I won't believe it all. I'll pick and choose what fits within me. And this is a wonderful place you find yourself in. For now you're starting to trust your inner guidance, which is also your outer guidance.
Hmm.
Now you're starting to understand that you actually do know everything. No one has to teach you formulas. You know inside all truths. You're not the only human. All humans know this, but they don't know that they know.
Hmm.
This was an
So
interesting conversation for you.
it is. It was. I had a wonderful meeting this morning with a new colleague that's into this sort of thing, and we. I've been just as you're talking about. It's like now I got the nudge, the intuitive urge to give her reach out to her and contact her, and we had a wonderful discussion this morning about a lot of these same things. So it's interesting how it all comes together.
Yes. And you will believe what's true for you. You won't believe what anyone shoves down your throat anymore.
Hmm.
Now you know, you see. And that's because you're an older human, not a new one. The new ones have to believe things. They don't know anything yet. But you, that's why it's very precious that you start off with a blank slate, already knowing that not everything you hear is truth. You know it from your life experience. They don't know this yet. The little ones don't really know if humans are lying all the time, but you know they are. They are telling their truth to you and they're trying to make you believe it by using firm pressure. But it doesn't mean it's true because you use firm pressure, but in small children it does. So when small children are told things that are definitely true, they believe it. You don't. So that's the wonder of you representing mankind who are awakening now. There are small ones who are awake, fine. You are not one of them, and you are representing all of those who've slept through childhood and grown up years. Now look at you. Now you're saying, what? Where was I? What's going on here? What have I been sleeping? Now I'm awake. Now I know because you're firmly entrenched in connection to universal intelligence. You are connected to universal intelligence, and you may check inside any time with this. Just because you don't always feel energy, it doesn't mean that there's something inside of you that speaks loud and clear truth, and you know it. You know truth when you hear it on the inside, for you have had some life experience.
Hmm. Yeah, that was a topic, and again, I'm thinking of comments you made earlier where there could be multiple truths, and so I've come back to having to see what resonates within myself to see if that's something I wish to follow or not.
Yes.
Although some of it is curiosity to as well. It's like some things I'm just not really curious in. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's not true, but it just doesn't resonate as something that I need to be concerned myself with.
Yes. Your experience is right here at this moment. It's an energetic exchange, just as we have just had, because that's what you wanted.
Mhm.
We are your energy, you are ours. We are all one. So we are only verbalizing through human words, which are easier for you to hear, things that are already going all around you. So you're just hearing it because you go, oh, that makes sense, but it's just you talking. It's just a mirror of you speaking. So uh, that's why you check in to see if it's true or not. See
Hmm.
if it's you, if you know this, if this is correct for you. It's just an energetic exchange. It's certainly not preaching or teaching. It's an energetic exchange coming forth with information that resides within you. Whether you're at the moment receiving it or not, you may receive it in a different time, but at this moment, this is what is active within you. And that is why it has come forth. We believe information is complete.
Okay, thank you for that. That's been a wonderful afternoon.
All right. Let us do namaste.
Bring it. Namaste.
Namaste.
That was kind of wild. Yeah. I'll turn this off.